So the plan was to have a 15-foot polytunnel that come all the way down this site on the fig and olive plot. So it'd be 15 foot and it would end here. It'd be brought back about 2 foot or so I could put an IBC behind. And that was the plan, that the polytunnel was going to stay on the fig and olive plot. But so in all the excitement of having the polytunnel up and talking back and forth with First Tunnels, they said to me, you know, are you available on the 14th for a build? And I said yes, absolutely. And then when I looked at the emails, when I was looking at the invoice, I was checking whether or not I had enough staging, enough side rails and whatnot on the invoice, and I noticed at the bottom it said October 14th, and I was like, no. So I realized this on September the 13th, the day before. So it means that I've got to wait, well, in theory now I've got to wait 3 weeks for the polytunnel, but it doesn't matter because things have changed a little bit with the polytunnel, which I'm going to talk about now. And also it means that this area is going to become something else. Let me explain to you what's going on. After talking to First Tunnels and to the committee about the rules and regulations on this site, I've decided that the polytunnel is actually going to come onto the new plot, and it's now going to be 20 foot long. So it was going to originally be 15 foot. The original one on my fig and olive plot was 13 foot, and I thought I'd make it to 15 foot. But after speaking to First Tunnels, we're now going to go right to the end of this path. So it means that the tunnel's moving from the fig and olive plot onto the new plot and going the full length of this plot. And the reasons is because this plot over here gets a lot more sun, especially in winter, keep the tunnel more warmer. And also with the new irrigation system that's going in, I'm going to need as much sun as I can to charge that. And this is the perfect area because there's already an IBC tank over here. I'm thinking as well of moving the greenhouse from here onto the fig and olive plot into that area so that I can have more of a kitchen garden area around that site. But yeah, the polytunnel's coming over here, more sun, it's a bigger plot as well, and it just means that it'll fit better onto this site. So even though it was a bit of a big mistake and it's given me a bit of time to think about it, I've decided to have a bigger polytunnel on the new plot. So it's exciting times, I cannot wait. And the other good reason is as well is that the wind blows down this way anyway, so it means that it'll give the polytunnel more ventilation. And I've got 2 double doors as well I can open up now and let the wind blow straight through the tunnel as well, just keeping down the moisture level. So I'm excited. There are a few issues where I might lose some leeks and I might lose some growing space on this plot, but it means that the polytunnel will get the maximum amount of sun and heat that I need. And then the other plot over there might even be a little mini orchard as well, and also keep all the beds where they are. But yes, exciting times. So the beans now are starting to dry on here, and it won't be long now before I'll be harvesting most of these. We have got some more here today to collect. I'll put in the freezer, but these ones now, they rattle, they're ready for keeping the seed for next year. And the same goes on this teepee as well. Look, there's so many. I've left them purposely because I wanted to keep quite a few beans because they've been such a success this year. Now these are the Greek gigantes, if I can get them out. So these are Greek gigantes, I'll show you now. And inside here, some big white beans. Now these are great in casseroles. They swell up and they're very meaty as well. And they're just perfect for casseroles and stews. So I'll be collecting these up today as well so that I can save the seed for overwinter meals. So the pumpkins now are starting to die back. There is a bit of powdery mildew on them, like I've mentioned. But yeah, it won't be long now before the stems will start going brown, and then these will all be stored for either decoration or to eat as well. So they're looking okay. Now these are all the winter brassicas that I've potted on a couple of days ago, and if you see, I've got some greyhounds, some purple sprouting broccoli, quite a few of those. I've also got some green kales, some red kales, and also some winter jewel cabbages as well. So these will now go into the greenhouse because I haven't got a polytunnel for them to carry on growing. So luckily, thank God, I've got this greenhouse that I can use. So why did I not check the dates? never mind. So inside the greenhouse, look at the flowers on these snake beans as well. Aren't they just magnificent? Kerry showed me them on her channel the other day and I didn't notice the flowers, but they're very wispy. But I've noticed there's quite a few beans now growing on here. So I've told Kerry that if hers doesn't work, then I'll bring some to Malvern so that she can carry on and try next year. But I think it works better in the greenhouse. I think it's just they like that heat and humidity. So yeah, at least we've got some to save. These are some of the tomatoes that I took off that were all green and they've started ripening now. I know already that that is a Heinz tomato. I mean, look at some of the weird colours on here. Do you know what I mean? This one's beautiful, all orange, looks like a peach colour. And these ones are striped as well. I think these are the large barbed boar tomatoes. So yeah, they're looking okay. An update on the sweet peas as well. They've all dried off in here now and it's actually been a success. All the seeds now are hanging at the bottom of this net, which saved me from sitting there meticulously and collecting all those seeds. So I'm going to do this every year now. So in the greenhouse as well, I've also got some April cabbages. I've got 15 of those. I've also got some red Russian kales, some scarlet purple kales. We've also got some cavolo and nero kales. I think I got about 5 or 6 of those. And I've also got some golden acre cabbages, and also over here some iron head savoys, which didn't do too bad, to be honest. Like, out of old seed, I think I've got about 6 or 7, so that's okay. And also a pile of coriander. So when people say, oh, there's nothing I can do in winter, there's nothing I can grow, I'm always really shocked, because as you've seen, I've literally just named about 15 varieties of brassicas and coriander and things like that you can actually grow now to keep yourself going through winter. And trust me, they are valuable crops to have through the winter. But it won't be long now before I'll start bringing all the buckets into here. I don't want them to rot off. They'll dry out in the polytunnel. No, I haven't got a polytunnel. They'll dry out in the greenhouse, and I'll just use them then whenever I want all through winter. So I'll still be collecting potatoes, some cabbages, some sprouts, some Swedes, some Leeks, and then also in the freezer I'll have runner beans, French beans. So there's plenty of food for you to grow now in winter, and also food that you've stored through summer. So thank you so much to everyone who commented about the guttering and also adding some mesh into here to stop the leaves from filling up. I mean, it's filled up again this week, you know, but I'm not going to do it this week. I was planning on doing it and putting the mesh in here, but I'll tell you why now. So I was looking for a suitable site for the new shed, the new potting shed. So I think what I'm going to do is, this greenhouse is going to go on to the fig and olive plot where the polytunnel was. It's flat, the area is already there to grow in, and I think I'll move this over in the next week or two before the new polytunnel comes. So I'm not going to do the mesh guttering yet until it's over there, so I'm not really worried. And then this area then will become the new potting shed area where I can build and get, yeah, it means I haven't got to tackle that yet to put a shed down. I can put a potting shed here because there's a lot of trees up here anyway, which will shade the shed, and yeah, it's better for that to be over on the other plot. So loads of changes. Now this unsightly area will be all cleared before long anyway. So the other option was that the polytunnel actually fits across this area. There's a concrete path here which limits me, and it actually does fit all the way to here, but it only gave me a foot this side and a foot that side of the polytunnel, and I need more space than that really down the side, just in case any brambles, or just need a footpath to get to the polytunnel. So I think across there as well, because the sun goes from here across this way as well, so the whole polytunnel across there, that area, not only will it be privacy for the back of the plot, but also I'll get a maximum amount of sun. So it's all going on, it's all going on. If I feel like the plots now are just, they're at a stage where they feel tired and they feel messy, and there's a lot going on them, but it means now that if the tunnel is a bit later come in, it's kind of a blessing, because it gives me 3 weeks window now to clear the plots, clear the bed, get ready for the new polytunnel, and the pressure's not on as much, even though we did rush to get that down. But I'm sure Linda and Doug will love their polytunnel and I can watch it for 3 weeks. Well, mine's not even here. So yes, I've maximised the space as well. I'm going to have a bigger polytunnel. So yeah, I'm happy. I am happy. So like I mentioned, this now is starting to look really, really tired. I've cleared this one bed here and this long bed, but now a lot of the beds are looking a bit tired. I've took out a lot of the nasturtiums out of these leeks, but most of these now can be cleared. Now I'm going to leave the dahlias in because they battle through autumn until they finally give up, and then I'll overwinter the tubers. But the sunflowers at the front, I'm going to take those out and store the heads as well, because I want seed for next year, and also keep some for the birds as well, because they really do enjoy them. But yeah, there is a lot to do, but this is everyone's allotment this time of year. So we're almost at autumn now, and this is the time now where you should be preparing your beds, ordering your overwintering onions, make sure you've got winter and spring cabbages ready to go in, and also your garlic. Make sure now you've got all those things ready. So if you haven't, order them now, because there'll be videos now coming up soon about how to prepare all your plots for those things, and then they'll be going in. So as you can see, mine now are almost ready to go out. I'm going to leave them another 2 weeks, and then the beds should be ready, and all the overwintering onions, brassicas, garlic will be coming out. So yeah, there's plenty to do in autumn and winter. So I've lost the polytunnel space for 3 weeks, so it means my shed now is an absolute, it's just rammed, absolute mess it is. It's rammed to the brim, full of tools, boxes, everything that I thought was just going to be out, you know, just for a week. So the polytunnel is out of business for a few weeks, but we'll get a bigger one. So I'm happy to sacrifice that for a few weeks. So I just need to now start clearing all the beds, getting everything ready, because I want, when the polytunnel people come here, I want this plot to be nice and clear, nice and safe, and everything is ready for autumn planting. Inside this bed as well, we've still got some peppermint chard. I'm going to give it a good tidy now, because there is a pile of nasturtiums in here. This chard can probably come out because it looks like it's going to flower, and inside here you can see a few tree seedlings that have started to grow, and I don't want them to turn into saplings. They're harder. We've got some parsnips down here which are doing really well, and a courgette plant that somehow this one has managed to elude me all week, so it's just gone too big now. But yeah, everything's looking really good.
I never felt tomorrow closing in this fast. Oh, I guess time's in a rush. Leaves are falling down, but at least they grow back, while I'm on a one-way track. Now I know what it means to grow old. Yeah, now I know the time I've got, it is just enough to get by. Yeah, it is just enough to get by. Sometimes I understand I'm making all the wrong demands in life. It never pays in the end, but still I am here, moving on like before. I'm yearning to reach the shore.
So I've had a good clean out of here now. We have got some beautiful flowers still going, so I'll leave them in. And also these are the garlics that have been smothered a little bit, but they're the spare ones. So I've just tasted one, and it does taste more of leek, but a stronger taste. So I will carry on. I'm going to leave them. Hopefully they'll go to seed, so I can keep some more seed for next year, but I'll harvest some as well because I've got them dotted around the plot a few times. But also, another thing I've noticed in this bed, no, it's not the beautiful peppermint chard. Now look at these stripes on here. There's a reason why this is called peppermint chard, and I mean, it's obvious, right? It's these over here, the golden burpees beetroot. I mean, look at those. Look at the colour of them. They're just looking fantastic. Let's take that leaf off. Now, I thought these were an absolute failure this year, but we've got 3 and also a little purple one down here. But over here, these are the Gladiator F1 parsnips. Now, they are being bashed about a bit by the wind, but I've looked down and there's a few parsnips on there, so yeah, there is some successes. Now, this structure was taken out last week, and I mean, I gotta be honest, it's going to be a nightmare to take all these bean vines off, I think, but it's a job for another day for sure. So I've been thinking as well, like on your allotment sites, now if you've got your own land or you've got a garden, you don't have to worry about this, but if you've got an allotment, do you have to submit to the committee a form to ask for a structure to be included onto your plot? So I know if we have to put a polytunnel or a greenhouse or a shed or any big structure like a big archway, we have to submit like a form similar to this one. This is the one for our site, and yeah, we have to ask the committee whether or not it's okay, because you have to make sure it doesn't infringe on other people's light. So you wouldn't want to put a big massive shed that's going to encroach on someone's plot who've only got a little bit of light on their plot. And also the same applies with trees. You can't put trees too close to other people's plots. There is actually a rule on our site that polytunnels have to be 1 metre from the paths as well, so that the polytunnels are not too close by. So there is things to conclude, you know, whether or not it's allowed, you know. And have you got that on your allotment site as well, where you have to ask permission for certain things? So yeah, my form came and I filled it out and it was accepted, thank God. But yeah, there could be, you know, a few spanners in the works. So don't think, if you're new to allotmenting, that, oh, I can just put a big massive shed at the back, because there might be restrictions on height and how big you can build your shed. The fig and olive plot now is starting to look very, very sad. Everything's looking quite messy. There's things everywhere because I've just got no home for them. I mean, everything's out here at the moment, which normally would be in the tunnel or in the shed. But, you know, these things happen, you know. But at the moment, I'm clearing beds. I'm going to be composting all of this, and it'll soon be back down to the ground. But for now, it's looking a bit of a sorry state. Now, this area is very, very strange to just come across and just not see the tunnel. Now, as you see, like on the start of the video, I took off most of the hawthorns from here now, and I'm thinking about putting the greenhouse in this area, and then this area going around the side here will be the new flower area at the back. And also at the back of here, I also want to put in a few more raised beds to put a lot of kitchen garden food in as well. So it'll be things that will overwinter really well, like carrots and leeks and whatnot, and onions and things in the winter. So that'll become the area for those staples. But there is a benefit to having the greenhouse over here. The asparagus is safe. So it means I've got areas now where I can actually extend the asparagus up further, which I wanted to do anyway on the other plot. So it just means now I don't have to lose the asparagus. Now, when I said I was going to do a few changes over autumn and winter, I did not plan on creating a bigger mess for myself and a pile more jobs. But would it be my channel if I didn't do that? So I didn't plan on moving the greenhouse over here and putting a pile more beds in. I'm having a bigger polytunnel on the other side, but that's just the fun of gardening, and also the fun of having an allotment is that you can do whatever you want on it as long as you're within the restrictions. So me moving things around, beds, it's fun, you know, it's fun. Don't think you have to just set it all up and then it's done forever. You know, move things around. If a plant doesn't grow in a certain area, move it to another area, and like this will always have a nice feel about it. But I was a little bit worried about moving the polytunnel from here because it's always been here since I took on the channel, you know, took on this plot really. And yeah, it's just, I don't want it to lose that feel, you know. But I think that's the reason why I want to put a greenhouse over here, so that it's still got a growing structure and I'll probably use that then for starting off seedlings, and also then I'll use it to grow chilies and cucumbers as well next year. Still gets a lot of sun over here, but a lot more over there. And I also never felt comfortable having that greenhouse, and it was already inherited on the plot underneath all those trees. I mean, one limb comes down in winter and it's gone. So I'll be happy that that's gone from under those trees. Now, another snag is that I've realised is that the new polytunnel has an extra hoop on it. Now, I've only got 4 staging bars, so I'll have to order a new one, and they're not expensive. I think staging poles are about £10, and I mean, I've been given the polytunnel, so I'm happy to spend £10 on some, you know, some extra staging bits and bobs that I need. But I mean, it's a, you know, I'm very grateful. So it means that I've got a lot of work to do over here. Now it's fairly flat. There is an area over here that I have to deal with. The buckets have to go inside. It means that I'm going to lose the leeks, or I could move it down a bit further down and just lose a few leeks. So I think that's what I'll probably do. But I cannot, you know, I cannot keep a polytunnel from being built because of some leeks. You know, leeks can be replaced, and there's always next year. I've still got the reserves over on the other plot. So yeah, that is something that might regret, because I really am looking forward to leeks. I mean, some of these I'm really annoyed about because of the weather. We've got flower heads, so it means that these are going to seed on this end area, and these were the giant Bulgarian. The ones at the back, the Musselburgh, the old favourites, they're going great. They're doing great here. I do need to do a weed through here as well, but since the plans have changed, yeah, I don't think I'll bother. Now the other option is to leave the leeks and start the polytunnel here. So it means that I've got extra space at the side of the polytunnel, which I could put another 2 of these beds then as well, and grow low crops there, you know, like lettuces and spring onions and salads and things. And it means that I then come across to here. Now this is such a project for the next couple of months. It means that this tree would have to lose some limbs, but I've never wanted this fruit tree here anyway, because that was going to be dug up and put somewhere else. I mean, there is some pest damage or something, but I've looked and it looks like a calcium deficiency. So adding some calcium, if you've got this on your trees, add some calcium into the ground in spring, and this should come back and the fruit should be okay. But yeah, so I might move it across a little bit here and then lose the tree. So there is still some decisions to make. That I think I'm going to try and keep as many leeks as I can and let them build a bit further down. But I'm back to the drawing board. I've literally drawn a plan for this area now, and yeah, moving bits around and seeing what I can do. But it's exciting times. So like I mentioned earlier as well, don't forget, if you haven't already, get some winter brassicas. I mean, if you haven't sown any, I'm sure there's still garden centres, and you can still order online for some winter brassicas. If you're just taking on a plot and you think, oh my god, I'm behind on the times, do not worry. You can still go to garden centres now and get winter cabbages, spring cabbages, buy some garlic, overwintering onions, you know, all those things, mustards, coriander, all those things you can still get now, or you can sow. So I've just shown you at the start of the video, you know, like things that you can still plant in autumn and winter. So don't close down, don't shut shop, carry on gardening. So it's not long now till Malvern. I'll be there on September the 29th. What is wrong with me with these months? So September the 29th on Sunday, I'll be in Malvern. I can list all the YouTubers that are coming. But if you want to get yourself a ticket, come down, come and say hello to us if you're down there. And honestly, it's a great day. It's an absolute great day. They're there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but all the YouTubers tend to come on a Sunday, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And if you haven't, they normally do have some winter veg there to buy as well, and also your garlic as well. So yeah, all's not lost. Now, in amongst these nasturtiums, there is some lupins as well. So let's get the nasturtiums out a minute. So inside here are some lupins, and the slugs will absolutely devour these over the autumn. So I think what I'm going to do is, once the tunnel is here, I think I'm going to dig these up, put them in a pot, and overwinter them in there, because yeah, I don't think they'll do very well outside, and there's quite a few inside here. So if your allotment's a mess and there's things everywhere and there's plenty to do and your list is as long as anything. Do not stress, do not fret. We're all in the same boat. It's this time of year anyway, but it'll happen. You know, we've got all these months now that are free up so that you can just prepare yourself for next year. So I'm not stressing about it. It's not the way I want it to be this time of year, but no allotment site is 100% pretty now, especially this time of year. Everything's dying down. The foliage is left. So just use these next couple of months to prepare for next year. So I was just clearing away some of the tools, and I noticed that some of the strawberry plants that I planted late summer that another plot holder was getting rid of. Now she was having an abundance of strawberries off these plants, and she had too many plants, so she dug some up and I planted them, and some of them died and some of them came back with a vengeance. And I've got strawberries in the middle of September. Like, what? Like, look at this strawberry. Like, it looks gorgeous. I mean, I've never known this. I know you can get late varieties, but these aren't late varieties, so weird. And I mean, look, it's flowering again, which is strange. But I mean, look, we've even got another strawberry by here. Weird year. I mean, this year has thrown out the gardening timetables and schedules, because nothing has gone to how it's supposed to be. And I suppose that's just the fun of gardening, really, is that sometimes it's predictable and other times it's not. So even though I made that little blunder about the polytunnel, I managed to get my jobs done today, and I'm looking forward to the next couple of weeks of getting everything ready for autumn and winter and the big polytunnel build. I'm Danny and this is Grow Up.